So the first pre-season friendly has kicked off, and that was Liverpool versus Preston, in which Liverpool won 3-1. A lot of the big name players like Florian Wirtz, McAllister, Van Dijk did not feature today for Liverpool, but we saw the debuts of Frimpong, Kerkez, and we saw some bright players really shine for Liverpool today in Rio and Trey Nyoni, particularly catching my eye in the first half. And I have to say, it's so weird that Liverpool are playing their first game of pre-season friendly, and tonight, Chelsea's season still hasn't ended. It will end tonight. It's pretty mad. But I have to say, it's nice to have a little bit of football back at the weekend, even if it's Liverpool Preston, a game I wasn't really that interested in watching. It's nice to just have a bit of football on a Sunday during the day. I want the new season to start, which is kind of crazy saying that as a Man United fan, because I feel like I'm going to regret saying that as soon as I watch us play football. But I want the games back. But yeah, I'm going to do a quick review to Liverpool 3, Preston 1. I'm currently in a hotel on hotel Wi-Fi, so I'm now using my phone to record. So hence, even though I made some PowerPoint slides, they're not up because I can't get them on my phone. So I'm just going to make this a raw recording because I tried to record it on my laptop streaming software and it was just pixelated so much. But I want to talk about Liverpool 3, Preston 1, but I can't talk about this game without obviously speaking about it being the first game and the first time Liverpool have been back with the fans since the tragic passing of Diogo Jota. I think going into this game, context is key. This isn't a game to be judging Liverpool or doing this or doing that. It's a game against Preston. It's the first game back. It's a game to integrate the players, but also they've had a lot on their heads, these players. I can't imagine how difficult it is, 10 days after some of them have lost their best mate, they have to go back and play football again and almost act as if everything's normal, and they have to just get back to it. And life moves fast, football moves fast, life does move on. But Diogo Jota will be forever 20. Liverpool have confirmed they're retiring the shirt, and I thought the tributes from Nunez and Gakpo after scoring the goal was very touching. So yeah, I haven't made videos on Liverpool since obviously the passing of Diogo because there was a little bit of transfer news, but I just felt it's worth waiting a week. I think this is the start of the healing process for Liverpool. I think this game is. I think they needed a week to just sort of, mourn and everything. And I just didn't feel the need to make transfer videos this last week. I just felt it was kind of irrelevant. But I think this is the start of the healing process for Liverpool. And, I think this is their chance to go and win it again for Diogo. Hopefully Liverpool don't win it again. Hopefully Man United win it. Please, please. But I do want to talk about Liverpool 3-1 Preston because I've been rambling for 3 minutes. I haven't got into the game. But Liverpool started with an interesting lineup. They had Rio and Trey Nyoni of the young players playing. Gravenberch and Szoboszlai were also in midfield. Salah played. Chiesa played up front. Conor Bradley was right back, but Conor Bradley was coming quite central. Tsimikas was left back. And Mamardashvili made his debut in goal in the second half. We saw Woodman come on. Is that Woodman's debut? I don't know. Frimpong was right back. Kerkez was left back. Robertson did well at left centre back. Nalo was also in defence. But in midfield, I think of Endo, Jones, and I'm going to say Kumas. And then Doak, Darwin and Gakpo up top. But I want to talk about the standout players. And the standout players for me, actually, and I want to talk about Frimpong's debut and I want to talk about Kerkez's debut because I thought they fitted in quite well. Frimpong made a really good recovery. I think he showed good defensive strength. I don't think we saw the best of Frimpong because he wasn't going that far forward. But Kerkez as well. Kerkez just slotted in. He looked good. But before I talk about them, I want to talk about Rio. I'm just going to say Rio because I keep butchering his surname and I've seen people say it about 5 different ways. And he has Rio on the back of the shirt. So something tells me he likes Rio. But this kid, obviously they got him from Chelsea last year, very, very highly rated young kid. And you can see watching today how highly rated he is. He's one of those players that I think Preston, whoever's watching at Preston, will want to sign him on loan now. Like, he was that good. Like, I don't know if he would go on loan. I'm not saying he's going to go on loan to Preston. But sometimes, I remember Man United played Rosenborg last pre-season. And I was like, that Naipan kid is good. He's now going to Manchester City. But sometimes you play this team on pre-season and they have this kid that stands out. I remember United played Copenhagen, and this wasn't pre-season, but Rooney Bargi stood out. He was a kid now, he's going to Barcelona. And Rio was one of those players that he just stood out in that game. I think his ball control, the way that every time the ball came to him, it was just glued to his feet, was excellent. Sometimes when you look at a player, it's like the aesthetics. The way they dribble, their technique when they dribble. Certain elite players have that certain technique when they dribble, the way the ball sticks to the feet, that low centre of gravity, that unpredictability. And Rio had that. He had that when he dribbled, the way the ball stuck to his feet, his directness, the way he was demanding the ball. Like, causing defenders problem. Like, he had that. He's so technically good for his age. He's such a good dribbler, but the ball, it was like stuck to his feet like glue. It was, he was such a fantastic dribbler. Obviously, that dribble he made, one of them led to the Conor Bradley goal, getting ex-player, beating his man. And I just felt that he looked like a really good talent. He was direct, he was unpredictable. I felt that he kept the defenders second guessing. Is he going to go on the inside? Is he going to go on the outside? I felt that his movement was really, really good. And I think for a young player, you can only judge them off what's in front of them. Yes, it's Preston, but I think for a young player, any kind of experience playing against grown men is really good. And I always say the biggest thing you want to see with young players is young players that want to take risks. Some young players are a bit nervous, they play it a bit too safe. He wanted the ball, he wanted to take risks, and I feel like that's what you want with young players, someone that wants the ball, someone that wants to take risks. And I felt that he created a lot of dangerous moments. I felt like whenever he got the ball, he carried it well. He was a good carrier, he was a good dribbler, but he was making things happen. I felt like the defenders didn't quite know what he was going to do, what way he was going to go, and a really good attribute for wingers to have, particularly the modern game, because I feel like the modern game sometimes lacks those exciting wingers, is the ability to go from outside to in, outside the box to in the box, to be unpredictable, to be direct. And I thought Rio had that. The other youngster that really stood out was Trey Nyoni. Trey Nyoni completed 29 out of 29 passes in the first half, was absolutely faultless under pressure. I spoke about Trey Nyoni because he did really impress me last season. I thought he was really good in Liverpool's preseason last year. He didn't get many opportunities, but I think when Liverpool in a title race that was intense, I'll say it wasn't actually intense, you knew you won it by the end, but when Liverpool in a tight race and they have a lot on the line, and I think Arne Slot was reluctant, Endo, who I think is an underrated player, didn't get many minutes under Slot in the league last season. Maybe not only could have got more opportunities, but he was very young, he was very raw, you couldn't complain too much. But I felt that Nyoni looked a bit physically better. I think Nyoni's probably been told just to do a bit more physically, because I think technically line-breaking passes, he's very good. And today I thought he looked physically good. But what I noticed about Nyoni is he's faultless under the press. He was playing every single pass, loads of line-breaking passes. And he's a player that's very comfortable receiving the ball, breaking the lines of his passing, which is the whole reason why Slot liked Ryan Gravenberch in the first place. Elements of Nyoni remind me of Ryan Gravenberch in terms of the strength of recycling the ball under pressure, breaking the line, passing the ball, which is why Slot preferred Gravenberch to Endo for that 6 role, despite Gravenberch only becoming a 6 under Arne Slot. I'm not saying that Nyoni's going to be a 6, he's far more advanced, he's more of an 8 for me, but I think his passing and his ability to break lines was very, very good, and I think potentially he has the tools to break into Liverpool's midfield. It'll be interesting to see what Liverpool do. I think Liverpool have a lot of wingers on the left. They've got Diaz, they've got Gakpo, although they may have to play striker. I'm not sure what the striker situation is going to be next season. I think you want Isak and Ekatike. I'm not sure what's going on there. But I think Liverpool, there could be an opportunity in midfield. I think you still have Bajcetic and you've still got McConnell. And I think McConnell, there's a bit something promising there. You've got a lot of good young midfielders, but it doesn't look like you're going to sign a midfielder. It looks like you want to sign a centre-back and a striker. So maybe opportunity opens up there, because I did feel like Gravenberch was ran into the ground, and it'll be interesting to see what happens with Nyoni. But I think he could be the breakout star of the season. I think out of Rio and Nyoni, I think Nyoni's more likely to break out this season, I personally think. Just because midfield, I think, and he's a little bit, maybe he's that year ahead, but like Rio was unbelievable today. He's, it'll be interesting to see if he gets more opportunities. But let's talk about debutants. So Kerkez has completed all 44 passes at 100% tackle success rate, and obviously he's physically ready for the Premier League. We know that. I think with Kerkez, you know what you get. He's arguably the best or second best left back in the Premier League last season. Very physically good, very good ball carrier, very good at getting up and down the flank, good IQ. And look, one thing about Kerkez is he's putting his head in for a 50-50. He's that kind of player. He's a no-nonsense defender, and you can see why Liverpool fans are going to love him. Kerkez just looked like he'd been there last season. Kerkez didn't look like a new player. He just fit in, and he was progressing the ball. He was pushing the ball forward. Kerkez looked very good. He works very hard. Kerkez, I'm so convinced, will be a very, very good signing for Liverpool. It's one of those where, those safe signings, like with Florian Wirtz, he's a very talented player, but there's always that kind of risk. With Frimpong, very talented player, but not playing the back four, very, very kind of risk. Kerkez is one of those signings where I think everyone, pretty much you could say with 99% certainty, he will do well. It's one of those where it's just the perfect fit. It just makes so much sense. I don't see how he doesn't succeed at Liverpool. Now, I think Frimpong and Wirtz will also succeed at Liverpool, but obviously that's more of a risk. But, with Kerkez, you just know for sure he's going to succeed. I believe that Wirtz and Frimpong will be good. And I obviously want to talk about Frimpong. We didn't see Wirtz today, but I thought Frimpong was very good. We didn't see Frimpong get very far forward, and we didn't see the best of Frimpong today, and I'm assuming we will see that later on. But I thought defensively he did well. He made a really good ball recovery, he got back well, and one thing I think you probably noticed with Frimpong is he's rapid, absolutely rapid, and I think his recoveries and recovery pace will be big for Liverpool. I think Kerkez and Frimpong's ability to get back and recover and pace will be a big boost to Liverpool, because I think Robertson's always been relatively quick, but maybe lost a bit of pace. Trent was always relatively quick, but they weren't as quick as Kerkez or Frimpong, and Liverpool have got this new bit of pace to the back line as well. And I think with Frimpong, you know, wasn't as adventurous going forward as normal, but settling in, needs time to settle. I think having Frimpong and Bradley as options at right back are very promising options. Kerkez, I'm just so confident he'll succeed. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how Wirtz gets on. I'm pretty sure Wirtz will feature in the next pre-season game. In terms of my other notes that I wrote, I just thought that Gakpo looked really sharp. Very Gakpo performance, good finish, good performance. I thought Darwin was very good goal. Obviously attributing it to Diogo Jota, same with Gakpo. I thought the dummy as well for the Gakpo goal was good from Darwin. I thought Darwin Nunez had a very good game. Unsure what's going to happen with his future, but I will do a transfer video on Liverpool sometime this week if I can get some time, if there's any interesting news updates. But I thought Darwin Nunez had a very good game. I thought he looked very bright. I think he'll probably be on the move this summer, although I'm not sure what the situation is with that. In terms of other bright games, there wasn't really too much to do for Marmadashvili, to be honest, was there? Gravenberg was just running the midfield as always. Yeah, there was just, I think the standouts were the two youngsters, and I think the talking points were the debut of Kerkez and Frimpong, who both did well. Both players, I think, will succeed. And I think Liverpool have got some, you know, exciting talents, and it'll be interesting to see if they get the opportunities. Let me know your thoughts down below. Thank you for watching. Bye.